So now it's your turn. Not tomorrow, not after more planning, not when it's convenient. Now, pick your purpose. Own it, declare it, write it, speak it, live it. Let it shape your choices. Let it clean out the weak parts of you. Let it offend the people who wanted you to stay small. Let it cost you, because the cost is the proof that it matters. There is no path to greatness that avoids pain. There is no transformation without pressure. There is no freedom without discipline tied to purpose. But when you accept that, when you embrace it, you become unstoppable. Because now you are not waiting for the world to change. You are becoming the force that changes it. And when you leave this earth, because you will, let them say, that one lived with fire. That one didn't back down. That one knew exactly why they were here and they gave everything to it. That is a life well lived. That is a legacy. That is a soul that did not die with its dreams still inside. So if you're still breathing, if you can still move, if you can still think, feel, speak, build, then there is no excuse. You still have time. Time to decide, time to commit, time to execute, time to become the person that purpose was waiting for. Because make no mistake, purpose doesn't find the worthy, it creates them. You are the architect, you are the author, you are the fire. So rise now, not because it's easy, but because you were born for it. This is your moment, this is your mission, this is your life, and the power of a definite purpose will reshape your reality forever. But an obsession with purpose. Carnegie didn't build steel for money, he saw it as the skeleton of a new America. Ford didn't create cars, he dismantled time and rebuilt freedom. Edison didn't invent light, he declared war on the dark. These men didn't move aimlessly, they moved decisively, with a vision so specific it pierced through ridicule, rejection, and failure. They weren't asking, what should I do? They had already decided. And that's the key. Purpose is not found. It is declared. You must choose it, claim it, write it on the walls of your mind with fire. And once you do, the universe begins to organize itself around your decision. Not magically, not instantly, but with a rhythm that only the committed can hear. You start seeing differently, you start attracting differently, because now your mind isn't distracted, it's aligned. When your life has a clear why, every how becomes possible. Discipline becomes natural, time becomes sacred, setbacks become strategy. You stop looking for escape, you stop chasing pleasure. You stop waiting for the world to understand you, because now you understand yourself. Your purpose becomes the filter for everything. It tells you what to say yes to. It tells you what to walk away from. It tells you what version of you is no longer allowed to exist. Because purpose doesn't tolerate the half-hearted. It demands the full weight of your presence. And in return, it gives you power. Real power. Not control over others, but control over yourself. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable, the average drift. The great decide. And once you decide, fully, unapologetically, relentlessly, you start bending reality. People call it charisma, they call it confidence, but it's neither. It's clarity. Clarity of intent, clarity of direction, clarity of identity. And the clearer you are, the more dangerous you become to fear, to hesitation, to anything that stands between you and that vision. So ask yourself, what have you truly committed to? Not what do you like, not what inspires you when you're motivated. What do you wake up to fight for, even when you're exhausted? That's purpose. It doesn't care about convenience. It only cares about truth. And when you live in truth, you live in power. So many walk this earth with fire in their chest, but no direction for the flame. They carry potential like it's enough. They carry dreams like baggage instead of building blocks. They wait. Wait for the right time, wait for permission, wait for certainty, and die waiting. But those with purpose, they don't wait. They create. They build when no one believes. They push when no one claps. They keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because it's required. Because when your life has meaning, you don't need motivation. You need motion. It's not about getting fired up once. It's about becoming a force that doesn't flicker in the wind. And to become that, you must burn the bridges behind you. You must leave behind the versions of you that negotiated with fear, the ones that settled, the ones that asked what if instead of what's next. You want to reshape your reality? Then you have to confront the enemy in the mirror. Not the world, not your past, you. Because the truth is your life right now is a reflection, not of your desires, but of your standards. And the only thing that can elevate those standards is a definite purpose backed by non-negotiable belief. That's where it gets real. It's easy to have a vision, harder to believe in it when nothing around you reflects it. But belief is the seed that grows roots in the invisible. It says, I don't need proof yet. I need decision. And that's what every great has done. When Edison was laughed at for trying thousands of times to create a light bulb, he didn't flinch. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Why? Because his belief was not optional. It was oxygen. He had no intention of giving up because his purpose was too strong. That's what belief rooted in purpose feels like. It's stubborn. It's defiant. It dares the world to try to break it. And every time someone said, you're wasting your time, he heard, you're on the right track. You want to build something that lasts? Start believing when it's hardest. Start believing when it's lonely. Start believing before anyone else can see it, because purpose gives birth to belief, and belief fuels discipline. Now let's talk about that. Discipline isn't a routine. It isn't waking up early for the sake of Instagram. It's a ritual of respect for your mission. It says, I honor what I said I would do, even when I don't feel like it. Because the world doesn't care what you intended to build. It only respects what you executed. You think Carnegie had the luxury of laziness? He spent his youth working 12-hour days in a cotton mill, and in that furnace of fatigue he forged clarity. He said, I will never stay here. He didn't know exactly how yet, but he was certain of the why, and that why became his compass. When most drifted in confusion, Carnegie locked in. He studied, he learned, he observed, he moved. That's what discipline does. It's not about hustle porn. It's not about being on 24/7. It's about alignment, doing the hard thing because it's the right thing. Keeping the promise, especially when it costs you. It's waking up when the world sleeps, training when no one claps, building when it's raining, failing, breaking, and still saying, I don't quit. I'm building something bigger than this moment. That's not hype, that's identity. And identity is the final piece of this chain reaction. Because once you choose a purpose, and you believe in it with every cell, and you act on it with ruthless discipline, you're not just doing something, you're becoming someone. Your words change, your thoughts sharpen, your time becomes a weapon. Because now you're not wondering if this is working. You are the work. You are the process. You are the unfolding proof. That's when the transformation kicks in. Not just in your habits, in your energy. People feel it before you speak. They see it in how you move. They notice it in how you walk into rooms, not like someone looking for approval, but someone who knows exactly why they're here. And in a world full of noise, that kind of presence is rare. It's magnetic, it's disruptive, it's dangerous, because people can argue with your opinions, but they can't argue with your conviction. Conviction changes everything. It silences doubt, it commands respect, it eliminates hesitation. And once you've embodied conviction, you no longer chase opportunities, you create them. The world doesn't move for the loud. It moves for the certain, the ones who carry a sense of inevitability, who move with the energy of, I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. But let me be clear, you won't get there without friction. The moment you set a definite purpose, resistance will show up in the form of failure, in the form of fear, in the form of every excuse that has ever helped you out average. Because purpose activates pain, it drags your insecurities into the light. It forces you to confront your limits and level up or lay down. But this is the part where most retreat. They take a hit and call it a sign. They stumble once and label it a wall. But the truth is, your challenges are not barriers, they are mirrors. They don't show you what's in the way, they show you what's within. Your weakness, your avoidance, your unresolved fears. And if you've got the guts to look dead into those mirrors, you can build a version of yourself that no one saw coming. That's how the greats rose. Lincoln lost election after election, faced breakdowns, betrayal, and brutal loss, but his vision for unity, for freedom, for legacy was so definite that even failure couldn't outlast it. He didn't crumble, he didn't complain, he became. That's what purpose does. It refines you through resistance. Because purpose isn't given to the most gifted. It's revealed to the most committed. And if you're willing to hold the vision, even when it's not convenient, even when nothing is working, even when every voice around you says it's not worth it, then you don't just build success, you build character. You build resilience. You build a foundation that can carry legacy. And this world, it doesn't need more influencers. It doesn't need more followers. It needs leaders. People with backbone, with substance, with a cause deeper than clout. And the only way you become that is by enduring the gap between where you are and where you're going. That gap, that's the proving ground. The sacred space where people quit, but legends are forged. It's where you work with no applause. It's where you grind with no guarantee. It's where you repeat the process until it feels like you're insane, and then suddenly the results arrive. Because results don't come to the wishful. They come to the relentless. Those who show up when it's raining, when it's quiet, when it's dark. They keep moving, not because they see the outcome, but because they see themselves. They know who they are. They know why they started. They know what they're building, even if the world still thinks they're crazy. That's power. That's control. That's the mindset that makes a human undeniable. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you gave everything to one mission? One cause? One vision? Without backup plans or diluted intentions? Because scattered energy produces scattered results. You can't chase 5 dreams and expect one destiny. You must choose. And once you choose, burn the bridge. Commit with obsession, not interest. Not hope, obsession. Because in a world where most people dabble, the obsessed dominate. An obsession is not crazy when it's tied to purpose. It's clarity turned kinetic. It's vision that's been lit on fire. That's when action becomes automatic. You're no longer pushing yourself. You're pulled by the force of your own mission. And that force, it turns weakness into focus. It turns delay into execution. It turns fear into fuel. That's when you stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, however long it takes, I'm in. That's when time bends for you. Because consistency backed by conviction always wins the long game. You stop needing guarantees. You stop needing cheerleaders. You stop needing the external, because the internal is set on fire. And that's when people notice, not just what you do, but who you've become. Because purpose, when lived with this intensity, doesn't just create results, it creates a presence. People feel it when you enter the room. They sense the clarity, the urgency, the intent behind every word. You become someone they cannot ignore. Not because you shout, but because your life speaks for itself. But the ones who live with purpose, they don't break, they adapt. They bend without losing direction. They shift without losing identity. They evolve without ever compromising why they started. Because when your purpose is definite, you don't fear change. You use it. You extract lessons, you extract leverage, you rise in the chaos because clarity makes you agile. The world can throw storms. Let it, because your roots go deep. And a tree with deep roots doesn't fear the wind. It grows stronger through it. Understand this. Adaptability isn't weakness. It's not surrender. It's intelligence. It's leadership. The ones who win aren't just those who work hardest. They're the ones who learn fastest. Every failure is a map. Every setback is a signal. And those with purpose don't take it personal. They take it strategically. Because when you're mission-driven, there's no such thing as wasted pain. Pain becomes feedback. Obstacles become blueprints. Loss becomes refinement. That's how giants are built. You think Disney gave up after being told he lacked imagination? He went bankrupt. He was rejected by editors, investors, partners. But his purpose? It wasn't to draw cartoons. It was to bring wonder to life. So he adapted. He kept drawing, kept innovating, kept risking until the world couldn't ignore him. And that's the mindset you must adopt. Not how do I avoid failure, but how do I convert failure into power? Because when you're committed to growth, you become a learning machine. You no longer protect your ego. You destroy it. You no longer pretend to know it all. You absorb like a sponge. Books become weapons. Feedback becomes fuel. Humility becomes your sharpest edge. You realize you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to stay hungry enough to find them. And now you're dangerous. Because most people stop learning after school. But purpose-driven people? They never stop learning, never stop evolving, never stop adapting. They stay on the edge. They sharpen daily. Because mastery is not a finish line, it's a way of life. That's how your purpose becomes magnetic. Not just because of what you do, but because of who you are becoming while doing it. Because you will outgrow people, you will outgrow environments, you will outgrow limitations you once thought were your identity. And that's okay. The version of you that was scared, the version that needed validation, the version that settled just to feel accepted, let them die. Let them fall away, because purpose demands rebirth. And rebirth is not gentle, it is fire, it is pressure. It is the breaking apart of everything that no longer fits the future. But if you endure it, if you walk through that furnace without backing down, you don't just emerge stronger, you emerge free. Free from self-doubt, free from fear, free from needing anything external to define your value. Because now you've become the standard. No more watching others live the life you want. No more shrinking in rooms that can't hold your potential. No more settling for half versions of your destiny. Now you lead, now you build, now you walk with a power that cannot be faked. And the beautiful irony? The world that once ignored you will now line up to follow you, to learn from you, to ask how you did it. And you'll look them in the eye and say, I chose my purpose, I believed in it, I paid the price, and I never stopped. That's what it takes. It's not hype, it's not fantasy, it's not a 5-step formula. It's blood, it's grit, it's clarity turned into war paint. Because when you know exactly why you're here, you will never again move like someone who's lost. And when the world tries to offer you distractions, you'll smile. Because you've already chosen something better, meaning. And now we arrive at the moment, not the end, but the ignition. Because by now, you know, this was never just about motivation. This was never about hype. This was never about making you feel good for 10 minutes and go back to the same distractions. This is a wake-up call, a declaration, a challenge from your future self to your present one. What are you really doing with this life? You were not born to drift. You were not born to fit in. You were not born to carry the dreams of others and bury your own. You were born to build, to speak, to break generational patterns, to carve your vision into the fabric of reality. But you will never do it by living in hesitation. You will never do it by copying everyone else's blueprint. You will never do it by waiting for permission that will never come. You don't need approval. You need alignment. Alignment with the definite purpose that already lives inside you. The one you've buried under years of noise, fear, and indecision. The one that's still whispering even now, I'm still here. Are you ready to rise? Because listen to me, purpose isn't about passion. It's about responsibility. It's about answering the call, whether you feel ready or not. Whether you're scared or not. Whether you know how or not. You don't get clarity by thinking. You get clarity by moving. You pick a mission, you pour your soul into it, you endure every scar it gives you, and over time, it refines you, shapes you, turns you into someone the world cannot ignore. Because here's the ultimate truth. Purpose reshapes your reality by first reshaping you. Your mindset sharpens, your voice deepens, your movements become deliberate. People feel it. Opportunities follow it. The universe responds to it. You go from wondering if you'll ever make it to knowing that you're already becoming it. Because the moment you choose a definite purpose and refuse to let go, the rest of your life begins. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost your comfort. It will cost your old identity. It will cost the shallow version of you who lived for approval, escape, and excuses. But what it gives you is everything. It gives you days that feel lit with meaning. It gives you a spine when life throws fire. It gives you a heart that doesn't just beat, it burns. And that's what the world needs. Not more people who play small, not more people who doubt themselves into irrelevance. We need people who live with fire in their eyes, people who rise with purpose in their blood, people who walk into storms and say, I was built for this. Because they're not guessing, they're called. And they answered. So now it's your turn. Not tomorrow, not after more planning, not when it's convenient. Now, pick your purpose, own it, declare it, write it, speak it, live it. Let it shape your choices, let it clean out the weak parts of you. Let it offend the people who wanted you to stay small. Let it cost you, because the cost is the proof that it matters. There is no path to greatness that avoids pain. There is no transformation without pressure. There is no freedom without discipline tied to purpose. But when you accept that, when you embrace it, you become unstoppable. Because now you are not waiting for the world to change. You are becoming the force that changes it. And when you leave this earth, because you will, let them say, that one lived with fire. That one didn't back down. That one knew exactly why they were here and they gave everything to it. That is a life well lived. That is a legacy. That is a soul that did not die with its dreams still inside. So if you're still breathing, if you can still move, if you can still think, feel, speak, build, then there is no excuse. You still have time. Time to decide, time to commit, time to execute, time to become the person that purpose was waiting for. Because make no mistake, purpose doesn't find the worthy, it creates them. You are the architect, you are the author, you are the fire. So rise now, not because it's easy, but because you were born for it. This is your moment, this is your mission, this is your life, and the power of a definite purpose will reshape your reality forever.